guys, so question 13 then, you are simplifying an algebraic fraction, so you need to start by trying to factorise as much as possible. So I'm going to start with the top of my fraction, which is 2x squared minus 7x add 3. In order to factorise that, there's various ways that you can do it. Some of you might be able to do it just by inspecting it and figure out what goes into the brackets, but I'm going to do it using the AC/B method. So AC is your A times by your C, which is 6. Your B is this term in the middle of the coefficient of your X, which is negative 7. So you are looking for two numbers which multiply together to make 6, but add together to make negative 7. Now you might start doing this and think, well, I can have 1 and 6, and I can have 2 and 3, and get a little bit stuck because obviously neither of those is going to add to negative 7. But you need to remember that you can also have negative 1 multiplied by negative 6, and you can have negative 2 multiplied by negative 3. So they are perfectly acceptable options. That is the one that will multiply for negative 7. So they're the two numbers that you're going to use. So then I'm going to write down 2x squared, which is what I started with. I've split this negative 7x up into negative 1x and negative 6x, so I'm just going to write them down. And then I've got this add 3 on the end. You are then splitting this in half, factorising the first half, factorising the second. So out of this first half, I can take out a factor of x, and that leaves me with 2x take 1. And then I want to make sure that I pull something out of the right-hand side that also gives me 2x minus 1 in the bracket. So rather than just taking out 3 from both of them, I'm going to take out negative 3 instead. And that's going to leave me then with 2x take 1 in the brackets, the same as in the first one. Now you might have taken out 3 first and got negative x add 1 in the brackets. They're not the same, so you just have to tweak it a little bit if you did that. You can then realise that you've got a factor of 2x take 1 in both of them. And that then leaves you with x subtract 3. So on the top of my fraction now, I can change it. So I've got 2x take 1 and x take 3. And you've also got to see that this bottom part of your fraction also will factorise. Now this is quite difficult to spot. It's a special case. It's difference of two squares. We know that because the first term is squared. The second term is also a squared number, and you've got this subtraction in the middle as well. That's how you identify its difference of two squares. So you end up with x add 3, x take 3. That's on the top and on the bottom, so they cancel out. Your final answer on your answer line is 2x take 1 over x add 3. Next question then, we are doing some expanding of double brackets but with surds in them. All I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my grid, same as I would for my normal double brackets questions, but instead I'm going to have 2 plus root 3 on the top, 2 take root 3 on the left, and I'm going to multiply from there. So 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times plus root 3 is positive 2 root 3. 2 times negative root 3 is negative 2 root 3. And then this is the tricky bit. You've got root 3 times root 3, which just gives you an answer of 3. You've got a positive times a negative, which gives you a negative. So 4 add 2 root 3, take 2 root 3, take 3. They cancel each other out. They combine to make 1. So your answer is just 1. Last question from me then is trying to do this vectors question. You have got a triangle. You know that M is the midpoint of this line here. You know that N is the midpoint of this line here. And we're wanting to show that AB is parallel to MN. So that means that knowing what the line AB is and knowing what the line MN is would probably be quite useful. So MN is dead simple. You're starting at M and going to O and then to N. So because you're travelling this way, it is minus M because you're going in the opposite direction to the arrow, and then plus N here. And remembering, because it's vectors, they've left them in bold but for you on an exam, it's probably just going to be easiest just to underline them. So we also need to know what AB is. Now at the moment I don't actually know what A is, but I do know that M is the midpoint. So all OA is it's just double OM. So if I think about OA, that will just be 2 lots of M. If I think about OB, same thing applies. That is 2N, because it's just 2 lots of ON. Therefore, if I want AB, I'm coming from A to O, then to B. So I want negative 2M, add 2N. And then the way that you show that these two things are parallel is that you show that one is a multiple of the other. So if you multiply MN by 2, you get AB. So at the end, you just need to say that AB is 2 lots of MN. Therefore, they are parallel. And then you're done. And you do need to show this bit at the bottom to get that final mark. It's not enough to just leave it like this at the top.